pivotal, critical game 3. You can't overestimate how big this game is, Rob. Dallas down 0-2. And if they lose tonight in their first game at home, this thing is over. You know, a lot of people say, Rob, I don't know where you're at on it, but a lot of people say, look, one day somebody's going to come back from 3-0 down. It's never happened before in the NBA, but they say one day somebody will.
We saw it happen.
I mean, it's
with
not
the Yankees
guaranteed.
and the Red Sox, so we
right,
did
but
see
that's
it.
baseball.
No, right, but I'm saying at that time, Chris, when the Red Sox did it, no one had ever done it. Like that was so.
But
is it
I'm
possible?
just not like ready to kind of guarantee it's ever going to happen.
No.
You know,
Anybody
that's all
who's
I'm
thinking
saying.
that is
Right.
BSing you, because you can't be buying into that, and a lot of things have to go your way for you to be able to make that happen. It's just the degree of difficulty is just too hard. It just is.
And baseball, even though I don't want to belittle what the Red Sox did that year, because it was phenomenal, Rob.
2004. That was. I mean, they really.
That was incredible. I remember
that was the
series.
Yankees dynasty was continuing to go, Chris, and up 3-0, they beat
and
the
they
Red
had
Sox.
Blasted them in
it was
game
like
16
to 7 or something. It was like a joke.
But in baseball, with pitching being like inordinately important, you know what I mean?
It changes the momentum.
Yeah,
you get a good start. The next game 4 changes everything.
Yep, that's the thing. Your pitchers get hot, your batters go cold, and it can happen. But anyway, Rob, Chandler Parsons, a former NBA player, he is saying, because you know the guy that's catching all the heat is Jayson Tatum. We've talked about that. He's averaging 17 numbers, Rob, on the surface. His numbers don't look that bad as far as just the total points, averages per game.
But he's
almost
hard,
averaging a triple-double. 17 points, 10 rebounds, which is a team high, 8.5 assists, which is a team high. But as you said, the shooting is killing him.
6 for 22 the last
from
game,
the field. Right? Yep. And 31% in the finals overall this year. And 28%, I believe, from 3. So that is the problem with Jayson Tatum right now. But Chandler Parsons, Rob, and I will say this, Tatum is not playing that poorly. He's just missing shots, which is huge. But he is missing shots. He's playing a good floor game all around, but missing shots. Let me get his field goal. Yep, 28% from 3. So anyway, Chandler Parsons, though, Rob, thinks people are being too hard on Jayson Tatum. Here he is.
You know what's interesting about this is Tatum has not been himself averaging the 30 and being efficient offensively. But if this were Luka, if this were Jokic, we would be praising him, how he's getting his teammates involved, how he's letting the game come to him.
How they're one rebound away from a triple.
How their offense is more balanced. And by the way, they're winning. So we're still finding a way to nitpick Jayson Tatum, even though they are dominating this postseason. They've been cakewalking to the finals. They've been cakewalking in the finals, and that is without their best player, Jayson Tatum, dominating and playing the game. The guy's averaging 17, 10, and 8.
If he ends up with a triple-double,
that's my point. If the Nuggets were up 2-0 right now.
What if he averages a triple-double in the NBA Finals and they win it all?
But you know what I'm saying? If the Nuggets
17, 10, and 10.
If the Nuggets were up 2-0 right now and those were Jokic's number, we'd be praising him. How he's a triple-double monster. How he's getting his teammates involved. How he's doing this. How he's doing that. Why is it a negative on Jayson Tatum that Jaylen Brown's having a great series? That Drew Holiday had a big game too. That Porzingis had a big game one. That shouldn't take away from Jayson Tatum's excellence just because his team is really good. These other guys are playing good.
Look, Rob, I will say this. I do think, for whatever reason, I guess maybe because he is the leader of the team, or at least the best player on the team.
Or how about his history?
They have fallen short a couple of times in the finals, or even the conference finals, or earlier in the playoffs during this little run they've had. Maybe that's it. And like you said, he wasn't good in the first finals that he played in. 35% shooting against the Golden State Warriors. I do think he's taking too much heat, Rob, because he's been taking heat throughout the playoffs, not just in these finals. So in the Eastern Conference Finals, He became the first Celtic ever. Yes. Over Larry Bird. Yes. Over John Havlicek. Over Dave Cowens. Over Bill Russell, Sam Jones, whatever great, Paul Pierce, Garnett, Ray Allen, whatever great Celtic you want to name. Jayson Tatum did something none of them ever did, which is to average 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. He actually averaged 6 assists in the Eastern Conference Finals. And still people were talking about he didn't get the MVP. And people were talking about he didn't play that well. Rob, throughout these playoffs, he has the best plus minus in the playoffs. Not just of the Celtics, of any player. And, of course, we talked about how he's playing a good floor game, all-around game right now. That said, so I'll give Chandler Parsons a little bit of agreement on that. That said, though, Rob, if Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic were putting up these numbers and playing this way in a finals, they would absolutely get criticized because of the 31% shooting. And Jokic averages like 30 a game. So if he dropped to 17, Rob, people wouldn't be looking at that as great.
Chris,
I don't know if they get quite as much heat because they are winning. They don't have the history of failure, for lack of a better term, that Jayson Tatum does. But don't act like they be getting praised.
100%. And I'm sorry. I don't care what stats. Oh, he's almost averaging a triple-double and all this. Chris, 6 for 22 is bad. I don't care who you are. Come on. You can't look at that and say, he's still playing fine. Because if he was 6 for 22 and they were down 0-2, Chris, and he had the same rebounds and assists, people would be killing him.
Right.
Come on.
They would really be slaughtering him.
He would be slaughtered. Stop it. Don't make an excuse and just say 17 points is good. No, not on 6 for 22. 17 points is good, Chris, on 6 or 7 for
6 of
11.
8.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
Right.
or something like
6
that.
of 11,
Yeah, I'll take that.
Right.
But not 6 for 22. I just think that's oversimplified. And he has a history, and we know the clutch situation that he's had. Like all of that counts. It's what you do when you're one of those guys. You count everything. You nitpick. This is not a Jayson Tatum thing. This is just how it is. Are you a big boy, Chris, or not?
Right.
Are you that guy? He's
And
that guy.
Like you said, Rob, and he's actually said it. And hopefully, Rob, as he struggles, I hope he really means this and it's not just giving lip service. You are criticized like this because you are so great and people expect so much of you. They're not, I mean, if Derek White was struggling like this,
Nobody's talking
saying
about
anything,
him. Exactly.
right? Even Drew Holiday, as good as he is, like, you're that guy on the Celtics. You're first team All-NBA. You're supposed to play better, and when you're not, it's because people have high expectations for you. Now, I hope he does understand that, Rob. Do you think there's a lot of pressure on him tonight?
No, not because he shouldn't be playing with pressure. He should just be playing because his team is up. You know what I mean?
Right.
You should be
I
able
agree.
to go. If you're down 0-2, Chris, and you haven't shot the ball well, there's pressure that you need to make something happen tonight.
Because if you lose, you're done.
Yeah,
That's
I just,
Kyrie. Yeah.
How in the world could he go out tonight and feel pressure to do what? Just play. If I'm Missoula, just play tonight, dude. Just play. Forget about the first 2 games. Just go out and do what you do, and don't worry about it. We won those games. Let's win tonight. I need you to play your game.
You know what's interesting, Rob? And he is not on the level of LeBron, right? But LeBron struggled in his 2 finals, Rob, even more so than this. I mean, we'll see what continues to happen. But Rob, in his first finals, and LeBron was just 22, so he largely got a pass, and I think deservedly so, in 2007 against San Antonio.
But if they would have won, everybody would have counted.
Yeah, but still, I get what you're saying, but that doesn't always. It's not that black and white. Sometimes it's like, yo, you got praise, dude. He was 22. He didn't have any. his team around him wasn't that good. They beat the really good Detroit Pistons that year. And, he couldn't get it done against Tim Duncan. So he got a little bit of a pass. But his numbers in that, Rob, were probably slightly worse than Jayson Tatum's were in his first finals. It was very close, but they weren't better. He actually averaged a lot more turnovers than Tatum did. And then, Rob, of course, LeBron's second finals was an absolute disaster against Dallas. And so you can bounce back from this. Yeah. You can bounce back from this. But, Rob, let me ask you this. If, let's say Tatum continues to struggle for the most part, and they win, and whether it's Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, whoever is the finals MVP, how do you think, obviously Tatum's going to be happy, and he will get credit because they won a championship. He's the best player. But do you think that there will be some criticism or at least a negative mark on him, or even in his own mind after that?
No. I maybe in his mind he would have wished that he played better, but winning covers up everything. It's like makeup, Chris. It just does. And people will be happy that they won, and they'll look at some of the other things that he did, the rebounds, the assists, some of the other stuff that he did, and just have to accept it. Sometimes your shots don't fall. They just don't. And you don't want it to be in a 6 or 7 game series. You might have a couple of bad nights, but you don't want it to be for an extended period of time. But winning cures all. And I don't think people will look at it and they'll be like, he got a championship. That's what they needed to do.
Yeah, I think they're in the moment. In the moment they'll be, celebrated because they won. If I think next year come playoff time, there would be talk of it and will Tatum show up and all that. But I think as time goes on, Rob, you're right. It's about the championship, period. Now, you may remember this. In Larry Bird's first finals, and we talk about, he was not the MVP. It was Cedric Cornbread Maxwell. But, Rob, in a 3-game stretch, games 3, 4, and 5, the great Larry Bird, Rob, had an 8-point game, an 8-point game, and a 12-point game. And he shot 3 for 11, 3 for 11, 5 for 16. That's Larry Bird. And obviously, nobody even thinks about that anymore. But that's the thing is, Rob, he went on in other finals and playoff games and played well.
Right.
That's just what Jayson Tatum will have to do going forward. So
no doubt about it. I just think for his resume right here and now, he needs to win.
Yep.